Well, hello, everyone. This is John Byrne with Poets&Quants, and I'm here with Sandy Kreisberg, a.k.a. HBSGuru.com founder and a candidate in New York City. His name is Zach. Hi, Zach. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Okay. So we have I got a really good, impressive background here. 750 GMAT, which immediately makes you stand up tall. 3.69 GPA from Cornell in engineering, which is
John, tell him we think that is a really high GPA.
Yeah,
Zach
for
is
engineering at Cornell, which is very demanding, very rigorous program. We're not talking geography or English or political science. Those last two, my majors. And Zach has been working for a structural engineering consulting firm in New York. He's helped the manager of that New York office grow the office to double its revenues in the past 3 years and increase the number of employees there from 2 to 5. He wants to go to Harvard, Wharton, London, or ESA in Barcelona, Spain, where I should say Zach spent a semester in his undergraduate years in Spain. Something must have happened to him. I don't know, those late night dinners, the wine drinking, the beautiful ladies. I don't know what it was, but IESE is on his list.
Okay, Zach, as we discussed in the preview here, you're a very strong candidate. I think with a 369 in engineering, a 750 GMAT, and a work history with an engineering company and a construction company, you'd be very attractive to. I think your chances of getting into HBS are real good. I think they're like 40%, and I think at Wharton they're maybe even higher if you don't blow the interview phase of these things. The question is, should you would prefer to go to these European schools rather than Harvard or Wharton, right? If you got into HBS and LBS and IESE, where would you go?
Probably LBS.
All right, John, talk him out of that.
Hey, London is a great school, but with your GMAT and everything else, and your background,
brand, baby,
NBC
brand.
Love you. McKinsey, Bain, BCG, a few years in that place.
Right. Also,
and
good
they would
point,
love
John.
you. And then you move on to whatever you want to move on. But after you get your MBA, wow, that would be a real topper.
Yeah, a Harvard MBA, a couple of years with, like McKinsey, Bain, or BCG.
Yeah.
You're as branded, you're as well branded as anybody. And that's what I would recommend.
Now, where can he go wrong? I think one place he can go wrong are his recommenders, because we know that this is a small firm that has never sent anyone to an elite MBA program. And that means that the people who will be recommending you have no idea how important those recommendations might
be. Let me ask you something. Do they know you're going to business school? Or
yeah.
They're on your side.
Yes. Yeah.
What you've got to do is kind of collaborate with them on the recommendations. You've got to say, look, here are the questions, and I've been told by people who know about this process that a recommendation is not an engineering study. Okay. Like a recommendation has got to be full of superlatives.
No nerd talk.
Well, no nerd talk and no moderate views or even calculated views. It's just got to be effusive. It's got to say, I've known guys like this, and he's in the top part of that group. Here's what's great about him. Here's what he's done for our company, et cetera, et cetera.
And, the easy way to do that, and I don't know if it's subtle, but, you write a memo and you say, hey, I want to make this easy for you because I know you're really busy. Here are some things I'm really proud of accomplishing in the job. And you put a few bullet points in there.
Right. That's good advice for anyone seeking a recommendation. You go, here's the things I've accomplished, and don't be shy about it. And here's other things you can mention.
Okay.
How active are you? Now, you're also active in these American Society of Civil Engineers.
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
Yeah, that's the professional organization. There's chapters in pretty much any big city. I've been the vice chair and the secretary of the structures group. We put on continuing education seminars every month, and a big final spring seminar every year. That's 4 nights, gets 150 attendees each night.
Okay, you should stress that. And your recommenders, do they know about your work in those organizations?
Probably not to the extent that I've actually
Remind
done
them.
stuff. Yeah.
Put that in your memo. That's a big bullet point.
Yeah, no, the business schools are going to love that. They rarely see people who are active in professional organizations. And that's a big deal to them, particularly since, this seems to be, well, it's networking and what you should do is try and present yourself as someone who's making the organizations more open, more diverse, and changing the topics from pure engineering to things that are more civic-minded. That the schools would go for that too.
That's also going to tell them that you're going to be involved in their community, which they like to hear.
Yes. Right.
Now, Cindy, what kind of essay should Zach be writing? What should he be stressing in that essay to make him stand out?
Well, let's take the Harvard essay, which is, you're familiar with the Harvard prompt, Zach?
I've started all of them, so I have drafts of all the essays.
Well, the Harvard prompt says, we already know your record, we already know your recommendations, we've got your resume. What else do you want us to know? And the standard answer for that is to state your goals in a very open-minded and powerful way. Say, my goal is to be an impactful leader in the of an engineering company that does blah and blah, and that's the first thing. You just set your goals. And then you say, you can do this your own way, but this is the content you should catch up. And then you say, there have been several important influences and people behind these goals that I'd like to tell you about. And then what would you say if I asked you this right now? Name 2 people who have been an important influence on you.
So my current boss, the one I moved out here, and it was just us 2 for the first year and a half.
That's good. So you go, my current boss, Joe Blow, and then you capture his influence. And then is there another influence, maybe outside of the profession?
I guess my mom, she was a high-end accountant at a publicly traded company in Wisconsin, but as a woman, she didn't really get the advancement that she should have. So
and another influence has been watching the career of my mother, who was ahead of her time, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I observed it growing up, and lately I've been speaking with her about it. And so I'm aware of the challenges that people have sometimes in their careers, and that was a big influence.
Yep.
And then, so those are 2 influences. And then, could you talk about some projects that were highly influential on your development?
So I've been working on Grand Central Terminal in New York. There's a new addition, and
that's a great one because it encompasses. It's an iconic building, and you're bringing it up to date, and blah 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 blah. I'll tell you, boy, your boss, your mother, and Grand Central, you got it. End of story.
You're taking a train to Boston, baby.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, John, now.
Metro liner, here you come.
Okay, now let's finish. John, tell them why you should go to Harvard and not INSEAD or any other.
Well, or London Business School. Well, basically, the Harvard brand is recognized the world over. When people think of it, the MBA, they think of the definitive school for the MBA. It's Harvard. And Harvard graduates so many people over so many years, 930, 40 a year.
And you'll meet so many great people.
Yeah, great people, and you're going to find them in powerful, influential positions in Europe. So if ultimately you do want to go to Europe to work,
yeah, but you could change your mind, you know, people do.
Plenty of help in networking with that Harvard MBA.
Yeah, Harvard plays in Europe, but you know, London Business School in America it's okay, but it's not as powerful.
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Do you foresee working for a consulting firm, or you just want to get right into it, Zach?
I've been talking to some of the current and alumni of LBS and YESA, and some went into consulting, some went into industry right away. So I'm balancing the pros and cons of each. I don't exactly know right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you could get into
that answer can get you the Kennedy School of Government. That was that was a very politic answer.
Here's the deal. Okay, you're probably worried about the cost because the European schools are much more affordable.
Right.
But you know, you go to Harvard, even if you have to pay full freight. You sign up with McKinsey Bain BCG right off the bat, you get a $35,000 sign-on bonus. Your starting pay is $145,000. You can pay down that debt pretty quickly. Okay.
True.
Yeah. Don't let the money get in your way.
No, don't do that.
Yeah. It's a lifetime investment. All right.
Yeah.
You're doing great things, buddy.
All right. Well, we're rooting for you. So you know what kind of content should be in that essay, including the fact that you're working on an update to Grand Central Station.
Yep.
You want to draft that memo for your recommenders to help them write as good and as strong a recommendation.
As specific and as raving a recommendation. Right?
Yeah. I think in your post-MBA goals, I would, say what you want to say, but I'd say I want to work for MBB. And then go on from there, because that would be like your PhD after your master's degree in business on your resume, right?
Yeah, you also don't have to do that.
Jesus, Cornell, Harvard, McKinsey, come on, huh? You'd be golden, even if you just put in 2 years. That's it. Anyway,
you're a strong applicant, and you'll be on the older side of the class. You know the demographic at HBS, John?
28. Average age, more or less. They never post the average age. They always, Dee actually had better stats on this.
Right.
She would always do those funny diagrams of years of work experience.
Yeah.
We haven't seen those in a number of years now.
What part of the Harvard Business School entering class? Well, for one thing, you'll be 31 when you enter, Zach?
Yep.
Yeah. What part of the Harvard class is over 31 years old?
Boy, I don't know off the top of my head, but I bet you that those stats are deceiving you. Here's why. Because in the applicant pool, there are only so many 31-year-olds anyway, or 30-year-olds, right? Yeah. So you don't know for sure unless you know the denominator.
And a lot of the class runs younger because of the 2+2 kids.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
All right, don't worry about it. It's just an interesting fact. They're going to take you, dude.
Yeah, look, you're walking into London. You're walking into ESA, Harvard.
At HBS, the only thing that could happen is you screw the interview, which does happen.
Yeah, totally. And now it's going to be virtual. You heard that? All the interviews are going to be virtual this coming year by Harvard Business School.
Mm-hmm.
And only today, Wharton announced that their entire fall semester is going to be online. Be glad you're applying for next year.
Yeah.
All right, Zach, good luck to you.
We just get them in after that.
Hey.
We just help you get in, Zach. After that, you're on your own.
Perfect.
All All right,
Great
Zach,
talking
good luck
to you, buddy.
We're rooting for you. Sandy, thanks again as always. You've been watching Fridays with Sandy. Come back next week.